Hey guys, Nia Zapala here. How are you? As you know, this is a place we talk about personality typing with a spiritual understanding. And this week on the blog, I'm talking about the many reasons you should be grateful for your personality type. You see, I believe everyone's personality type. I've been studying personality types, all the 16 types. And I can't believe how magical each type is. Each type has something so significant to contribute to the world. I want you to start seeing this. I want you to start embracing how fantastic you are, how amazing you are. And when we start combining this with a spiritual understanding, you really begin to realize that you were created from the magic of the universe. You came here to co-create with divine intelligence. And when you start using your personality from that perspective, instead of the perspective of a career typology, there's nothing wrong with career typology. But I believe it's narrowing. You see, when you create with divine intelligence, with the universe, God, Allah, Great I, whatever you want to call it, that's unlimited potential. Because if you have that perspective, if you believe you are a spark of divine intelligence, then you must believe that everything you encounter is you. I know that, let's wrap our heads around that a little bit, but this is what we need to be grateful for. Because when we start understanding we are the same, we are a fabric, we are the same spark that's in a tree, a majestic tree that you're like, oh, it's so beautiful. Well, so are you. A beautiful blooming flower that takes your breath away. So do you. A sunset at night that you just are awestruck, you're gobsmacked. So are you. You have to realize the beauty that you see in everything is a reflection of the beauty that's inside of you. That's what you have to be grateful for. And that's what I want you to start wrapping your head around and seeing yourself for this powerful person that you are, right? We no longer can operate from this small self. Yes, I know. I, like you, was trained to operate that way. We're shuffled into this very narrow, dark tunnel that says, go to school, go to university, get a career, get married, have kids, blah, 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 blah. Well, how can that be the same for everyone? I'm not saying that's wrong for anyone, but I'm asking you, how can that be the same for everyone? And I think what's so constricting about that is many times we're all shown the same path. We can't all be on the same path, The path isn't big enough and it ain't wide enough for all of us, right? I know I just start to get preachy, but I get so excited about this because there's so much potential in you. And the potential that the world needs now. The world is evolving. And if you can't see yourself out of this old prism, this very locked down version of you, you're going to stay locked down. I don't want you to stay locked down. I want you to walk through the darkness if that's what you have to do. That's what many of us have to do. That's what many of us are doing now. Walk through the darkness into the light. Walk through the darkness into the light. It's so important. And it's so important that you start taking the time to discover your personality type from a spiritual understanding. My God, I have probably like 100 blogs you can start reading. It's all free. I do these videos. It's all free. So it's not like you don't have a free resource. You do. And I'm happy to do this because I'm so passionate about getting this out. I think we've been so locked down to believe one thing when that one thing was false. And I truly believe the statistics. I think, oh gosh, I don't know the name, but I know it's like 86% of us aren't happy in our jobs, our careers, whatever. That's a pretty big damn number. And this number is even bigger. 93% of us want to change something about ourselves. I know why. I think I know why. What the hell? What do I know, right? But I do. I've been studying this for a long time. And I think because what I'm saying is we're so constricted. We're so constricted. We're so confined that our spiritual senses, our spiritual knowings, we know we are more than what we're here for. We know that. But it's been so beaten into us and beaten down and just it's so bottled up. That's why we're so everyone's like just like Argh. There's so much anxiety and frustration and anger. It's because we've been beaten down. We've been bottled up. We've been told no. Do what I say. Don't be this, be this. Well, don't do that. You'll never make any money with that. You can't be good at that. That's a 1 in a million thing. Well, you're 1 in a million. So who the hell is going to tell you that? You know, I mean, it's just, and I was told that by my parents. You know, my parents came out of the Depression, World War II. All they wanted for all of us kids was security, security, security. But their version of security and my version of security is totally different. I love my parents to death. They've both passed on. They're probably watching me saying, I'm going to get you. You come to the other side. No. But my parents taught me many great things. And I'm very grateful for them. But what they didn't know is what we are all starting to know. That's what this whole wave of transition and change and unrest and the chaos on the earth, because from chaos comes light. From confusion comes clarity. So this is the things we have to be going through. But what can help you get grounded is knowing your personality type. Because you're more likely, once you know your personality type, to take a path that's more intuitive to you, to who you are. It's more grounded. Because there's indicators in your personality that show you the way. That's why you have to be so grateful, right? And divine intelligence, you know, that being that creates star systems and galaxies and oceans and over 200,000, I think it's 200,000. Let me just backtrack. I know this for sure. We have over 20,000 species of just butterflies. You know, that person, the creative eye of everything. There's a spark of that in you. That's what you have to be grateful for. You have to have this knowing that you have this powerful spark in you that when you ignite it and when you marry it with your personality and you let it lead you and your personality follows you, it's just there to support your soul song is what I'd like to call it, your soul mission. And it's not all about career. It's about how you want to show up in the world. You might have a career, but you might, on the other side, you might want to start this giving program, a cause program. You know, you might want to devote times to, to study, I don't know, butterflies, let's just say that, or travel and get to know different cultures because that's what feeds your mind. But whatever feeds your mind boomerangs back to you, and then you feed that same thing out. It's a karmic law. What you give, you receive. And so you need to start being grateful for your personality. Because as you know, I'm going to tell you this again, I tell you this all the time, but as you know, your personality, I believe, was a gift from divine. It's designed specifically to line up with your soul's purpose, your soul song. You are 1 in a million. So when somebody says, I can't be that, that's 1 in a million, go, oh, good, because I'm 1 in a million. Let's just reverse that thinking stinking. I'm starting to call it thinking stinking. But let's reverse that. Why can't you be that? Who's saying that? Are they 1 in a million? What are they doing? And you know what? And when you start getting into your personality and you really start relying and you're really grateful for everything you have, for who you are, for who you can become, you kind of let everybody else's thinking go. Because you realize that's their soul's evolution. That's their path. And yes, it may intermingle with yours, but it's not specifically your path. Don't let too many people on your path influence you, because you'll get bumped off your own path onto their path and then live their life or their narrative, which so many of us do. So many of us are living the narrative of the collective. We just follow along because it's what we were taught. When you were a kid, are you taught to be different? No, you're not. Look at how school in itself is just like this predetermined way you should be. It's predetermined. Unless by some miracle, I had the miracle of having a great English teacher that told me I could be a writer. You know? Now, I'm not an editor, because if you guys are on my blog, you know there's spelling mistakes, so please don't shoot me. I'm highly dyslexic, and I'm bootstrapping right now, so that's okay. It'll change. But I love to write. It's just like I love writing. I can sit down, I can write for hours, and the time just goes by. But that one English teacher, she saw the pain on my face, and she said, Nina, I know it's really hard for you to be here because you don't fit in. And I don't. And I normally don't fit in to the collective traditions, to the conventional, I just don't. And that's okay, because that's my personality and that's my path. That's my soul's mission. Other people do. And they thrive in that environment. And they have the power to change that environment and to make it better, make it more efficient, make it more honorable, bring integrity to it. Everybody is needed now. Every single personality type. Because as the world shifts and change, we need the inventiveness, the innovativeness, the fresh thinking, of young and wise minds alike. So once you start being grateful for your personality, knowing its strengths, and yes, you have to know the weaknesses, because it's like you can't know light if you don't know dark. And people go, I can't do the dark. Well, you better do the dark, because that's the way you learn. You have to walk through the dark, like I said, to get to the light. If you already think you're in the light and you haven't done any growth work, and you haven't had any, major triggers in your life, you might want to rethink that. I'm not saying they have to be as dramatic as mine, because mine was it was a complete shit show for 7 years. Guess what? That boomerang thing, that's what was coming back to me. I wasn't learning. And when I prayed and talked about it, I was told, you're not listening. You're super stubborn. And I am. I know that about myself. And my personality type can be very arrogant. I'm an ENTP. I want to argue everything. God tells me to do something. I'm like, let's argue with God. Oh, yeah, really, Nina? So I've kind of learned to put that one on the shelf and realize that trigger is something that was an ego thread within my personality that I had to just calm down. I had to calm it down because it didn't work. It just didn't work, right? And believe me, I learned a lot going through that 7-year life tsunami. These are very liberating lessons. They're blessings of struggle and pain and trauma. Walking through the dark forest to get to the light. I had to walk through the dark. Because if everything didn't crumble, like today on Earth, everything's crumbling. If it didn't crumble for me, like this has now been like 10 years ago, I would have still been doing what I'm doing. Because unless humans are pushed Many of us don't change. We become complacent. We think we know. And also, I read an article recently. It was like, I think it's another 90% number. People really think they know themselves, and it's only like 10% of the population. So I'm here to start hopefully bringing some awareness and bring an awakening to the power of your personality, not from a career standpoint only. To me, that's kind of soulless, because if we just do a career just for like what we've been taught in Western society, to go out and make money, to have the job, to have the kids, to have the bike, to whatever we're doing, where's the soul in that? But if you're looking from a career from a soul perspective, from a co-creative with divine intelligence perspective, and you lead with that, because leading with that is a whole other intention. It has a whole other intention behind it than what we've been taught. So I'm here to awaken you to the idea of personality typing with a spiritual understanding. And one of the things I want you to do, I want you to start being in gratitude for your personality type. And if you don't know your personality type, I implore you to go figure that out. There's stuff on my blog. There's Truity. There's the Myers-Briggs type indicator. Just Google free tests. It's everywhere. So there's no reason for me to do another free test. That's not my personality, so it's not what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to have it on my thing. But I'm going to do a readiness quiz to see how ready you are to try a neat idea of personality typing with a spiritual understanding. I will be doing that because that's a whole different take. And I'm all about taking what's conventional and making it unconventional, but with a fresh new perspective. Not to do it just to be unconventional, but to help you rethink how we see things. We need to rethink how we see our personality type, because we are so much more than just our careers. We are a human manifestation of the universe. So we are manifested from God to have this human walk, to have this human adventure. But we are spirit. Yes, and I know we're human, but that's a small fraction of who we are. Our spirit is much bigger than that. And for the most part too, it's unlimited. So you can't compare an unlimited spirit with a limited human. The potential's there for unlimited possibilities though, when you start marrying those two together, the physical mind and the divine mind. That's where your higher self comes together, or your true self, the truth of who you are. Such an interesting concept if you start thinking about it. And it is a new concept. And I'm telling you, it's not easy to have people start rethinking what we already know. But this is a time to rethink everything. Look at the world. It's time to rethink. I mean, just look out into the world and see what's happening. Are you okay with what's going on? Are you okay with the status quo? If you're watching me, I know you're not. I know you're not. Because we all need to change. Just like my 7-year life tsunami hit, it was chaos, total chaos. I lost everything. And I start all over again. That's not easy. But I'm telling you, it wasn't easy during the time. It was hard. And I took steps every day just to keep my head above the water. Because I was drowning, man. A tsunami is not something it's easy to live through. That's why I call it that. Excuse me for my sniffing. It's cold here and I have allergies. But this is what's going to happen now. And it's not to scare you. Look, I'm here. I want to give you hope. I want you to learn from my example. You can walk through this and land on the other side better than where you started. And that's what this whole earth transformation is about. I believe we've been locked down and told who to be, what to do, how to think, and been led to believe something that's not true. Just like somebody tells you, you can't do that. That's 1 in a million and they succeed. But now do you believe me when I tell you you are 1 in a million? You're 1 out of 7 billion people. You know how your fingerprint is you can solely identify somebody by their fingerprint and your eye. Well, your soul is the same way. Your soul is totally unique to you. Your soul path is totally unique to you. Your life here on earth and that journey is totally unique to you. Now, it can look similar to somebody else's, but that somebody else doesn't have your personality. It doesn't have your life experience, and it doesn't have your soul blueprint for what you're here to do, for what you're here to accomplish. It's really exciting when you start thinking about it. Your soul has a blueprint created by divine design to help you evolve and live life here on earth from your higher self. We're just not taught that at all. Even, when I was growing up Catholic, I wasn't taught that. God, I got kicked out of confirmation because I was questioning the priest. He got all pissed off at me. I think I told you this story. He was making disparaging remarks about gender, and I was just like, and first he was talking about love, right? He's like, well, we should love everyone. And then he started talking about gender. I think he was talking about being gay or something like that. And I'm like, well, didn't you just say that we all come from God and everybody's love? And so I don't understand how you said God made a mistake. Well, if we all come from love, how come this person didn't come from love? Oh my God, I got in so much trouble. The man bitched me out in front of everybody, made me sit in the back of the church. I swear to God, I was like put in isolation. It was crazy. And he then called my mother. And I heard him he was screaming. I can hear him raising his tone. Mom's like, okay. My mother was really sweet. She got off the phone and go, that was the priest, huh? That was Father O'Brien. And she goes, yeah, he's an angry priest. Don't worry about it. I was like, oh my God. Well, my mother was very spiritual. And she did believe in the church. But I swear, as she got older, she started seeing things differently. And I don't know if that's because she really got in tune with her sisters. My mother always had this ability to channel the other side, especially her family. Because she used to do this all the time, but I won't go there. But I'm saying we're not taught, as I digress, right? But we're not taught that even in religious circles. I wasn't. You might have been in your church. That was my experience in the Catholic Church. And as always, I want you to take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Okay? But what I'm speaking of here, personality typing, is actually a theory. There's a lot of logic to it. So it's not this nefarious, I want you to go sit on a mountain and meditate your life away, then come down off the mountain and be of the world. No, I want you to start with the logical aspects of your personality and get to know that inside and out. So maybe instead of binging on Netflix, you put some time into yourself. You really dedicate time to yourself. And I know we're living crazy times, but I'm telling you, once you start doing this, not only will you appreciate yourself more, you'll start stepping into that gratitude that I'm talking about. You'll be grateful for your personality. Go, wow, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I had this trait. I didn't know this was like this. So in actuality, too, I put a lot of your reasons to be grateful for all 16 personality types on the blog. I put some journal prompts in so I can help you start seeing that. I want you to start seeing that. I truly do. Because you really are special. If you knew how amazing you are and how much more amazing you can be when you start co-creating with divine intelligence, there's no stopping you. there's no doubting yourself anymore. There's no reason for you to compete or see yourself as lesser than or powerless. I don't care what situation you're in. You've got to give yourself a chance to know yourself. If you want to know yourself, if you want to find yourself, if you want to walk your truth, then stay tuned, because this is what this channel is all about. And I'm going to start teaching this because hopefully my book's going to come out. If I get off my ass and edit it all, editing's really hard for me. And I'm going to send it to an editor, but it's taking a little bit longer than I thought. Anyhow, I am going to start teaching this. And I really want you to know this. I think it's so important. And it's logic with the spiritual component. And I even address within your personality type spiritual modalities that are more likely in step with your personality type. So you're not taking a master course or some other course and you're like, oh my God, my neighbor loved this and I took it and I didn't get anything out of it. Well, no, because your personality type doesn't jive with what they're saying. It doesn't vibe with it at all. So once you start knowing yourself, truly knowing your personality, everything else falls into place. Because once you know yourself and you start co-creating with divine intelligence, you reach the truth of who you are. You're at your highest self. Life becomes easier because you have the foundation built. And the indicators are there. And life starts indicating. And when life indicates something, it doesn't mesh with your personality, you're like, nope, I don't need that. Or, oh, that works for me. And see, your choices become easier because you're like, oh, that works. That doesn't work. You already know. And it's not that you shouldn't try new things. I'm not saying that. And even when you do try new things, though, you're trying new things that are more in sync, more aligned with who you are. That's why you need to be so grateful that divine design took the time to assign you a very specific personality type to bring you your best life. So, enough said. You know what I'm going to end with. Oh, besides, do the subscribe, hit the bell. You know what? Do share this, though, with somebody that you think is ready to really find their truth, to really know themselves, to know who they really are, to find themselves, and almost define themselves, right? But when you define yourself, you define yourself through your innermost self, not by the external world, by your innermost self. And when you start doing that, that's when that co-creation starts to begin, right? You start realizing that, wow, I need a spiritual practice. I need to start opening my spiritual senses up, to start trusting that intuition. To when I get a gut instinct, I know to act on it, even though it could be ridiculous. Oh my God, there's so many things. When I was going through my 7-year life tsunami, Spirit was telling me, oh, you need to do this, you need that. I'm like, that's just freaking crazy. I'm like, really? And I did it. And oh my God, the miracles. Now, I don't always listen. Like I told you, I'm a stubborn shit. But when I do listen, oh, great things come into play. They just do. So we all have to start witnessing our spiritual senses because they are paramount to a life well lived. You want to live your best life? You got to start incorporating your spiritual senses along with your physical senses. And your spiritual senses are more important than your physical senses. I'm not saying ignore your physical senses because I don't want you walking into walls or not driving right. Come on, that's a basic understanding, right? But I'm just going to say that, But we make our physical senses, those external things, so much more important than our spiritual senses. And our spiritual senses are actually so much more important than we've been taught to realize. So I want to teach you that. I want to share this with you. I want to bring this to you right? So if you're liking this, please comment. Please share it. You know, subscribe so you know when my next video is coming out. I'm pretty consistent with Fridays, but you never know. I might be popping in when I get something that I think is really cool, or there's some event that's going on. I'm trying to stay out of the world right now, and I just want to bring you what I feel is aligned with me right now. And sometimes that means staying on my path, staying in my lane, right? It doesn't mean I'm not involved, because every day I try to be kind to somebody. I try to smile. I try to hold a door, I pick up litter, whatever it is. These are small things, but they all add up. They all add up. Do something nice for my neighbor whenever I can. So those are just little things, you know, but the little things are, to me, are very important, you know, and I love simplicity. So the simple little things for me is what I do. You know, you could be like this big magnanimous, do big magnanimous things, which is uber special too. It's just, we all have different personalities. We're all going to do this in our own way. And I'm grateful for you, because I'm grateful for your personality, because you helped me learn about myself. See, if we all had the same personality, it'd be boring as hell. We'd be robots. We wouldn't be people. We wouldn't be human. So we have to start realizing that our differences is what makes the world go round. It makes the world so special. It's what makes you special. It's what makes me special. It's so exciting. All right, guys, I'm going to say bye-bye for now. And I hope you enjoy these videos. I love making them. I get so excited, as you can tell. I know I get on preachy. It's just my personality type. But I really, really, really want you to know how amazing you are. And I'm going to sign off by saying, when one person is in alignment, you're more powerful than a million who aren't. I want to help you come into your alignment. And when you align your spiritual senses with your physical senses, you come into that alignment. You come into your higher self, which is in alignment with all there is, with the great creator. Wow, what's going to unfold for you? Are you ready for it? Get excited. Get excited. All right? Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I am grateful for you. And I'm grateful that you're with me on this journey, and I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. See, I got to go because I can't talk anymore. All for now. Nina Zapala. Bye-bye.